I'm going to take one single head of cabbage and turn it into 6 distinct meals for one. Let me show you how to take the budget-friendly cabbage and elevate it to these delicious meals or sides that are zero waste and zero boredom. They are so good. So first, I'm going to take my cabbage and cut a chunk off of it. This is how we're going to utilize the first part, and I'm going to store this in the refrigerator. So if you are cooking for one, you live alone and you don't want to waste this, place it in a bag, a freezer bag, or your favorite storage container, and it'll last in the crisper drawer of your refrigerator for about 2 weeks like this. So I'm going to take this big chunk of cabbage and cut it into smaller chunks because I'm going to stir fry this with beef. This is one of my favorite sort of like lazy quick ways to make a meal. And how I do that is I take these Costco beef rolls and I just take a handful of them and toss them into a pan. So cooking oil, preheated pan. I'm going to season this with just a pinch of salt and white pepper. Season how you like and just cook it through. Okay, so I have my beef. It's pretty much cooked. Now I'm going to add just some carrot and 1 scallion that I just chopped up. Give that a quick saute. Now I'm going to add my cabbage. Tiny little pinch of salt because the sauce that I'm going to add is, you know, going to be seasoned, salty, and what have you, but I want to continue the saute and let the cabbage cook for a couple of minutes. So for the sauce, I'm going to add just maybe a tablespoon of soy sauce. Okay, maybe 2 teaspoons. And here I'm going to add about a teaspoon or so of oyster sauce. I'm eyeballing this. I'm also going to add some Shaoxing cooking wine. I'll say that's optional. And I add a tablespoon. Here I'm adding like a half teaspoon of sugar. You want to give it a mix, give it a taste, and adjust to your preference. Mix. And then it goes right over. Drizzle of sesame oil right on top. And this is a beef cabbage stir fry done. This is a good recipe to try if you want something quick and delicious. Okay, here's my bowl. It all fit in this bowl, like I said, cooking for one. I'm going to finish with some roasted sesame seeds. This is dinner. So easy. Now for the next recipe, this is my favorite. I'm starting off with a tablespoon of butter. Actually, this is maybe half. And I'm going to let that melt. Now I'm going to add 2 cabbage steaks or cabbage wedges. I don't know what you would call this. I just cut chunks off of the same cabbage. And I'm going to saute both sides. I'm also going to season with this Cowboy Butter seasoning. Season with salt and pepper or whatever you have in your pantry and go with that. I'm adding more butter. I'm going to melt that in the pan. So in all, a tablespoon of butter works for this. And if you want more, go for it. Give that a flip. And now what I'm going to do is shake on a little more of that seasoning. Again, salt and pepper works. And now add like 3/4 cup of water. And then I'm going to cover this with the lid and let this cook until the cabbage is tender. It takes about 10 minutes. And here I will be adding 3/4 cup of heavy cream and 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese. Now that this is cooked through, you can see the water sort of has reduced, and I'm going to add that heavy cream. Quite honestly, if I weren't filming this, I really wouldn't be measuring anything. And I can't tell you how much I love this dish. I'm going to shake in the Parmesan cheese now. And then you'll want to just give this a mix, incorporate everything, and let it gently simmer for maybe another 3 minutes or so. And then it's done and ready to serve. You could serve this with mashed potatoes as a side with potatoes and chicken. I like this as the main star on top of rice. And after you plate it up, you'll want to pour over that delicious cream sauce. You'll probably want to lick the spoon and the pan because it's that good. And now, dig in and enjoy this delicious meal. And if you haven't tried cabbage this way, I definitely suggest you start with this recipe. Next up, I'm going to show you how to make this flavorful compound butter, starting with softened butter. I'm also going to add doenjang, which is Korean soybean paste. You could use miso, by the way. I'm also going to add gochugaru, which is Korean red pepper flakes. I love combining these flavors. I'm also going to add some dehydrated minced onion and fresh garlic. And once I grate this in, all I'm going to do is combine this really well, store it in the fridge, and anytime you need it, you can spread it on cabbage, you can add it to pasta, you can add it to steak or chicken. It's so good. So here I'm cutting my cabbage steak. Again, you're working with the same cabbage at this point. Okay, I'm going to smear a little bit of that compound butter onto one side, and I'm going to saute this. And just sauteing cabbage this way, texturally, it's delicious. The flavors are so good, and it goes great as a side or as a meal. I actually serve this alongside roasted baked chicken legs, firecracker chicken. It's so good. But if you just want this as a meal on top of rice, which I do all the time, go for it. It's so good. And you just sort of sear it, add a little bit of water, cover it, let it get tender and cook through, and it's done. This is so delicious and simple to make. And even if you don't have compound butter, season how you like with salt, pepper, saute in butter. It's super good. This cabbage, carrot, and white onion have been feeding me all week. Let me show you what I've been making for breakfast all week that I've been fixated on. So this is a very simple version of okonomiyaki, which is a Japanese egg cabbage veggie pancake. I've thinly shredded the cabbage, carrot, and onion, and I'm going to add 2 large eggs. And then you just mix it, scramble the heck out of it until it's kind of foamy and frothy. I like to add a pinch of salt. And this is what it looks like when you are done mixing and scrambling it. I'm going to cook this in a preheated pan with cooking oil in it and over a medium-low heat. You don't want to burn it, and give it time to cook. Sort of press it into a disc, cover with a lid for a little bit, then do the best you can to give it a flip. I've been getting pretty good at this. When it's done, serve it on a plate, and I've been eating this with purple sweet potatoes. They are so good, and this is my hyperfixation breakfast of the week. Super good. The simple ingredients put together for this meal are perfect for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I like it that much that I could probably eat it 3 times a day. I'm back with my cabbage, onion, and carrot that have been feeding me all week. Today I'm going to add tuna into the mix. And in the original video, I did not add tuna, and it's great just with the cabbage, carrot, onion, and egg. I'm also going to be adding some extra seasonings into the mix along with 4 eggs, because I'm going to try to make 2 patties, one for me, one for my son, because he likes this as well. And this is just something I make all the time. In the comment section, a lot of you said, you know, there are additions that you would add to it. Absolutely do that. I'm just keeping it simple. Also, the inspiration for this, somebody sort of hit the nail on the head in the comment section. I make Korean street toast sandwiches for my husband and son. They love those, and that's sort of where I got the idea from. But it's not lost on me that if making it in this way would remind people of okonomiyaki, but I do think it's probably closer to more of like a cabbage egg omelet that you would put on that street toast sandwich. Okay, so I'm just gonna flip this, and sometimes it breaks apart. You just have to watch it. And I'm gonna make 2 patties for 2 plates, and it's time to eat. I'm gonna show you how to make cowboy butter cabbage. So good, whether it's the star of the show or a side. So cowboy butter cabbage. So I've already chopped, this is just a rough chop of that entire head of cabbage. By the way, just chop some more cabbage from the same cabbage we've been working with and make this a smaller portion. Knob of butter here. Right there, let that melt down. Okay, cabbage going in. I'm going to add a pinch of salt. And I'm going to let that cook down and kind of sweat Give it like 5 to 7 minutes. I'm actually going to cover it with the lid right now. And I have it kind of like on a medium to low heat. Okay, so now for the cowboy butter. You'll want to, for the entire recipe, you'll work with 1 stick or 8 tablespoons of butter. I added probably a half tablespoon of butter into the cabbage. The rest is going into this little pan, and I'm going to melt that down. Let's just kind of help it along here. And this is unsalted butter. Okay, so I have a little bit of maybe like a tablespoon of red onion that I chopped. I'm going to add that in while it's melting. You don't want to use a high heat for this. You don't want the butter to burn. You want it to just gradually melt and maybe gently simmer at most, but you really want everything to become fragrant with the butter. I can't talk. Okay. A heaping teaspoon, I guess, of Dijon mustard. A lot of the ratios of ingredients is to your preference and palate. Now I'm going to shake in some smoked paprika. Here I have some crushed red pepper flakes. I'll say half teaspoon to start. And I like to add Maggi seasoning. You could also sub this with soy sauce. I do that sometimes. Let's just continue stirring, melting. I'm also going to be adding, this was 1 large clove of garlic. You can do 2 cloves, again, up to you. And again, gently simmer this and combine everything well. Of half a lemon, maybe like a tablespoon of fresh squeezed lemon juice goes into this. And just everything is going to become fragrant with the butter. It smells amazing. Now I'm going to add chives and fresh parsley. I'm going to shake that in, and some parsley, fresh chopped parsley. Okay, so we're going to shut off the heat. The residual heat will do the trick to get everything just fragrant. The butter is so flavorful at this point. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic blend into the cabbage. As you can see, it's starting to wilt down, just a little bit of this. So I'm going to let this continue cooking for another 5 minutes, and it'll probably be done for me. Cowboy butter ready. Give it a little mix, and we're going to add it right into the cabbage. And then you give it a mix. And this is actually my meal. I love this. Just the same way I would eat a salad, I'm gonna eat this. It's so good. With some shredded or shaved Parmesan cheese, some chives, and this is a meal. So I hope you found this video helpful. For those of you cooking for one, I hope it gave you some ideas, and all of the ratios of the ingredients as far as seasoning, spices, and butter is really to your preference. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.